Thank you very much, Professor Alain, and thank you all for joining us this time. As already introduced, the topic of the presentation right now is non-communicable diseases and promises from Ethiopian medicinal plant. My name is Atkeld. Just for your information, today the speaker was supposed to be Dr. Sintayo from same university, Hawassa Medical School, but he said, in fact, mine is to be after a while, but Dr. Sintayo said, please, Atkeld, do it first because you have some connection first with University of Alberta community, and having worked for Hawassa International Office, you may have something to say apart from the research aspect. So if Dr. Sintayo is going to present, then it will be just directly the research. So I will say thank you, and I want to appreciate University of Alberta Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry for accepting these changing schedules. So accordingly, I will have a very brief introduction of myself, Hawassa University, and Ethiopia in general, and traditional medicine or herbal medicine, then the non-communicable diseases, and with a little emphasis, I will dwell on Ethiopian medicinal plants against non-communicable diseases. Finally, potential areas of collaborations I may mention. Well, as already introduced ahead, I have a PhD degree in applied biology and an MSc degree in medical physiology, both from Addis Ababa University, Ethiopia, and advanced training in molecular medicine in South Korea. I really have a great passion working with medicinal plants, starting from designing the study, doing the plant material collection, processing, and I'm very happy that one of my research, the master's thesis research, was presented in second Biotechnology World Congress in Dubai a few years back. Well, just to say a few words about Hawassa University, we are one of the pioneer universities in Ethiopia. We have like 8 colleges, including College of Medicine and Health Sciences, student population over 30,000, and academic faculties more than 2,000. When it comes to academic programs, including undergraduate and postgraduate, there are collectively over 300, including some clinical specialty programs. And interestingly, we have some collaborations with workers in different parts of the world. In fact, Canada is one, so we have very strong relations, collaboration with the University of Saskatchewan, and hopefully the next will be University of Alberta. I really want to thank University of Alberta community for the commitment they have taken towards working with Hawassa University. I know some officers have probably traveled to Hawassa, and our medical college previous officers have also worked a lot on that, and that's how I came to have this link to present today. Well, as you may understand, it's very difficult to introduce a country in a slide, but I will try to do that. Ethiopia is found on the Horn of Africa, like the northeast part of it, and like the second most populous country in Ethiopia, with a lot of UNESCO registered tourist attraction sites, and very interesting, lots of diversity in ecological areas, disease patterns, so climate, ethno-linguistic, and whatsoever. I believe if any professor or student at Alberta think of research collaboration or a kind of exchange for a semester or so, hopefully Ethiopia, and specifically Hawassa, is one of the good destinies to consider. And very interestingly, there is a very good link between Ethiopia and Canada. Just for your information, our current Hawassa University current board chair, Her Excellency Ambassador Nasise Chali was Ethiopia's ambassador to Canada just before a few years. So there is a very strong ties between these two countries. If there is a little time left at the end, I may have a little more to say here. When it comes to herbal medicine, I wish to start with standard definition from WHO 2023. It says traditional medicine, which also include herbal medicine, is a sum of total knowledge, skills, and practices based on theories, beliefs, and experiences indigenous to different cultures. So I know, as we may all understand, the modern medicine is relatively a new phenomenon in human history. So traditional medicine has been very prevalent throughout millennia, probably, and right now, even it is very prevalent in Ethiopia, widely used in Ethiopia and many other developing countries, but also it is becoming more popular even in the countries where mainstream medical treatment is freely available, like countries, Canada, Europe, US, and whatsoever. Another point worth to mention here is traditional medicine should be promoted and its potential developed for wider use and benefit of mankind. So there is a very keen interest in it. International organizations like the WHO, other important workers in the area like the National Institute of Health of the US, and many others researchers in else part of the world are very keen in it because, number one, huge number of communities use it still, and the other, it is a potential source for probably better therapies for the various problems, health issues we have nowadays. According to one paper, the ethnobotanical information, the traditional herbal knowledge among the communities, termed as a natural manufacturing house of modern drugs, served for the discovery of many drugs, including quinine, pseudoephedrine, codeine, and even the anti-cancer vinblastine. So many other, and these drugs had their origin in the traditional herbal use. So they have been scientifically investigated, and nowadays we get them in common pharmacies. So they are very important. I hope we all agree. And another indicator for this is the global herbal medicine market size in 2022, just last year, is estimated to be about 165 billion USD. So it is really something worthy to work on this area. When it comes to non-communicable diseases, I hope you all agree with me that that's quite vast area. It can be viewed from public health aspect, from clinical perspective, from basic science research and whatsoever. But because my intent here is to substantiate that the role of herbal therapy against these NCDs is worth considering, I will be looking at more the prevalence and those kind of public health aspects. The WHO and the GBD, Global Burden of Diseases, it is another important research center regarding this global public health data. The non-communicable diseases cause like 74% of all diseases worldwide in 2019. So we can see that it is a really important health issue, these non-communicable diseases. Previously, they were thought to be problems limited to wealthy areas, but nowadays, the low and middle income countries, including Ethiopia, are like disproportionately suffering from these non-communicable diseases. Most of the problem of non-communicable diseases is being exhibited in low and middle income countries. That is quite untaught a while ago. And we also talk about double burden of diseases. Before we get through these infectious and communicable diseases, the non-communicable diseases have become very important here as well. Just to say a few words about the different non-communicable diseases around, taking cardiovascular diseases, they are leading causes of death globally. They are part of the non-communicable diseases and are estimated to be cause for 90.7 million lives lost per year. And in Ethiopia, the prevalence of non-communicable disease, cardiovascular diseases, is estimated to be about 5%. When it comes to cancer, we know cancer, on top of uncontrolled growth, has several hallmarks. Globally, 18 million cases of cancers were diagnosed in 2020. This is according to World Cancer Research Fund. And the Cancer Research UK reported that globally there were 10 million deaths in 2020. And when it comes to Ethiopia, annual estimated cancer incidence about 60,000 and mortality above 44,000 has been reported recently. When it comes to diabetes mellitus, I'm picking very few non-communicable diseases because I cannot pick all of them. There are very many, in fact. Globally, like 537 million adults between age 20 to 79 years are living with diabetes. This is like 1 in 10. You can imagine how important it is. And diabetes is responsible for 6.7 million deaths in 2021. Like 1 death every 5 seconds due to DM. That's really serious. And in Ethiopia, there are different figures, like 6.5% and plus or minus prevalence has been reported already. Now, we know there are many treatment options for non-communicable diseases, but still there are several concerns related to non-communicable disease treatments in standard mainstream approach. What are these concerns? The concerns include access, the concerns include affordability, cultural issues are also there. Otherwise, the cancers, surgery is one of the widely used one, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, targeted therapy, and immunotherapy, boosting the immune system of the subject. There are many others. In cardiovascular diseases, if the problem is blockage, then bypass surgeries are widely practiced. Pacemakers, various drugs are there. And for diabetes also, in addition to lifestyle modification, there are several drugs and close follow-up of one's blood glucose have been widely recommended and are in use. But as I said, these are not accessible to all, especially in low and middle income countries, including Ethiopia. The other is their price. They are accessible, even if available only for a segment of the community that can afford them. The other is cultural issues. Especially in some parts of the world, it's not very easy to disclose that a person has hypertension or frequently visits cancer clinics. There are many cultural related issues. Due to this, complementary and alternative medicine, including herbal therapy, is a very, very important option and is also getting widely practiced. So when it comes to Ethiopian medicinal plants against non-communicable diseases, I was having in mind how best to present this topic. So what I decided to do is, because there is a wealth of it, starting from many years back and in various areas like public health aspect, the clinical reports, the basic science research, and many are there. I tried to kind of limit my search only in PubMed. We know there are many other options. I think it's something worthy to pursue in the future also, either myself or any other attendants here. So what I did is I did PubMed search to give it some skeleton or some shape and some keywords like herbal medicine Ethiopia cancer, herbal medicine Ethiopia diabetes, hypertension. I said cardiovascular diseases, but that didn't give any hit. So what I did is put health, and I got some data. Because of some sort of time and other constraints, there were some filtering mechanisms, as you may have a look at them. So over 70 papers were available based on these search mechanisms, but looking at them quite closely, about 40 of them qualified. Essentially, it is not to write a kind of extensive review or meta-analysis or so, but it is just to convince our audience this time that there are medicinal plants in Ethiopia which are worth considering, which are worth to investigate a little closely, more deeper. So this is the intent of this kind of mini review. So with this, I wish to switch to my Word file. I will be within my time, but I will be switching to my Word file. Okay. So I hope my Word file is visible. There are many review papers, original publications for anti-cancer therapy, for anti-cancer activity of various medicinal plants. There are different cell lines, breast cancer, blood cancer, colon cancer, and many cell lines have been in use. And according to Taye, for example, and colleagues, euclid plant, this is a genera, and several plants in this genera have proven to have anti-cancer, anti-diabetic, and other effects. This is the second is a review, and around 200 medicinal plants in Ethiopia are reported to be used for anti-cancer activity. And another original paper by Neguse and colleagues, it reported cytotoxicity effect of this medicinal plant against various cell lines. So another original report by Asha and co-workers, 3 medicinal plants were tested on liver cell lines, cancer cell lines, and powerful anti-cancer activities have been reported. Another interesting thing is like 22 medicinal plant extracts have been studied in various cell lines. And I think this document can be accessed from myself, or hopefully will be visible in the video. Another interesting thing is gene expression regulation have been studied by Gabriel Libanos and colleagues in response for medicinal plant extracts. What are the findings? Probably these extracts can be used as adjuvants for chemotherapies because they have shown chemoprotective effect against the studied cells. So anti-diabetic reports are also there. As I said, there are many reports. Some reported basic science research from biomedical labs, like the ones we just mentioned. The others investigated the use of these medicinal plants among patients. And this Kifle and colleagues reported that among patients who attend diabetic clinics, like 53% used medicinal plants on top of their regular medical treatments. And another group from the northern part of Ethiopia, Mekelle, they reported newly diagnosed type 2 diabetic patients have positively responded for certain medicinal plant powders compared to the controls. The other review reported about the garlic having anti-cancer, anti-diabetic, and many other functions or activities. Still, when it comes to anti-diabetic effects, inhibition of alpha glucosidase and alpha amylase have been widely reported. So the indicators are many. Some monitored the blood glucose, the others looked into the enzyme activity, and still others looked at the blood chemistry, the profile of the various indicators for anti-diabetic. Very interestingly, Moringa stenotella. In Amharic, we call it shifarao. Before some years, it was widely promoted to be a medicinal plant, to have anti-diabetic, anti-hypertensive, and many other functions. And I remember even in our home, my mother said, oh, we have to plant this plant because it's being very popular, very useful. That is practically throughout Ethiopia. But the point is, after some time, some concerns regarding its safety or toxicity are also coming. There are several reports. So cytotoxicity is one of the investigations done when it comes to Ethiopian medicinal plants. So there are many anti-diabetic reports, as I said, original reports, reviews, patient-related, biomedical-related, and so on and so on. The other is for cardiac activity or for cardiac disorders. Still, a certain original report by Tesfaye and colleagues reported that crude extracts and solvent fractions of these medicinal plants, Urtica siemensis, significantly prevented the deleterious effects on the heart rate, cardiac biomarkers of deliberately induced heart affected animal models. So the effect of medicinal plants, which are widely used by the community for various heart-related, cardiovascular-related disorders, have somehow been checked, and some kind of supporting evidence generated for their cardioprotective function. There also are reviews related to that. And the other is hypertensive patients as well, not only diabetics, but hypertensive patients also use these medicinal plants on top of the actual medical treatments they are getting from hospitals and clinics, this study reported. So I think antihypertensive reports of various medicinal plants are also available. Some of the ways are tail cuff non-invasive blood pressure measurements in response for administering these medicinal plant extracts and fractions. The others looked into tension studies. They took out the aorta following standard procedures and tension studies in response for medicinal plant extracts have been available. Okay, I think time to get back to my PowerPoint. I hope my PowerPoint should be shared by now. Okay. So just to give a little summary of the Word file which we just had gone through, several research reports are already available, and several aspects of Ethiopian medicinal plants against non-communicable diseases have been studied from the public health, from the clinical, basic science research, and many others, toxicity studies included. And it's also an area of huge interest, and a lot is yet to be learned in this area. So I believe it will stimulate interest by many in the future, including our attendants or visitors of this, those who look at this video. I think with this point and one more, I will conclude my talk. And potential areas of collaboration might include in the future this non-communicable diseases and medicinal plants against NCDs is an opportunity for multifaceted research. Some might be interested to look more into the ethnobotany, documenting what the various segments of the community, the traditional healers, the elders, and different communities use for hypertension, cancer, and whatsoever. Others may pick some of these frequently reported medicinal plants, those that have not been scientifically investigated, investigate them in vivo, in vitro, various cell lines, and different approaches. It can be part of a PhD work. I'm looking forward to doing my PhD in the future, or it can be faculty research as well, and other large scale projects to apply for project calls. Having said this, I guess I have a couple of minutes in my timing, so I just want to introduce a little more about myself. I enjoyed my molecular medicine lab and my clean bench, as well as animal model or working with SPF animals, and had blessed opportunity to visit University of Wisconsin, I guess, and University of Texas Tech maybe, or in Germany, one more university, University of Tübingen. Hawassa University, a lot can be said about it, but it has many colleges, relatively beautiful campuses, academic programs, a lot of them that require collaborations. Already established collaboration history is there, but we hope more collaborations will still strengthen. Also give opportunity to our partners abroad, because I know some Norwegian students coming to medical school on exchange basis. They will definitely enjoy, tropical exposure, which they may not have back home. Many German students also come to our College of Agriculture and anthropology and other departments. They do a lot of exchange. Okay, this is our College of Medicine and Health Sciences, and this is our Wendogenet College of Forestry. When it comes to Ethiopia, as I said, a lot can be said. Huge total surface area, sit for many international organizations, African Union, United Nations Commission for Africa, and many others. One promotion I heard from Ethiopian Tourism Organization is just visit Ethiopia and become 7 years younger, because Ethiopian calendar, now we are in 2016, while the rest of the world mainly is in 2023. UNESCO registered sites, tangible, intangible. I hope if you have visited many parts of Africa, you might have used Ethiopian Airlines. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And if there are some questions or whatever, it's time for that. Thank you so much.